Hello Internet, my name is Waffle, I'm a maker at Discovery Place, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the power of air pressure and about how stationary and moving air can do some pretty amazing things. And hopefully by the end of this video you'll have some explanations for some of air's more unusual behaviors. Air is around us all the time, but we usually don't feel it unless it's very windy or if I'm moving my hand through the air very quickly. But there's actually over a mile of air above our heads, and all that air pushes on us, but we just don't feel it very much. Although you might notice it if you are in a plane flying into the air or going up a mountain, you feel discomfort in your ear, and this is actually the pressure in the air changes depending on how high you go. And that popping sound is actually the sound of air entering into or exiting your inner ear to help equalize things. And it's this air pressure that actually can do some pretty incredible things. For our first activity, we're going to need a glass of water and a square of cardboard. But this might make a mess, so the first thing we will need to do is go outside. And now that I'm outside, I can show you the power of air. So, we know gravity is pretty strong, and gravity can pour the water out of this cup. Now, if I take the cardboard on top, turn it upside down, what do you think happens if I were to let go? Common sense would say that the water would just fall out. But, as you can see, because of air pressure, it actually stays. So that mile of air from above has a whole bunch of pressure and is actually pushing the bottom of this cardboard. And so you can see that the water stays in the cup. Now, when air starts moving, that's when things get really interesting. In 1752, the scientist David Bernoulli discovered that moving air has less pressure than stationary air, and this leads to some pretty interesting effects, right? So if I have a normal sheet of paper, I can blow on it, and it moves, and that kind of makes sense because the air is pushing the paper. If I take and I blow across the paper, you might think nothing should happen, but you see the moving air over top has less pressure. The air on the bottom isn't moving and has more pressure and starts to lift the paper. This is actually exactly how an airplane wing will work. An airplane wing is curved, so the air on top has to move faster, which means lower pressure, which means the bottom air, which is moving slower, can slowly give the plane lift. So we actually use this every day. For this next demonstration, we're going to need a hairdryer and a ping pong ball. If you don't have a ping pong ball, you can use another light, hollow kid's ball or maybe a balloon. You just can't use something like crumpled paper or aluminum foil because you need it to have a smooth surface. Now, if I set the hairdryer to cold and start blowing, there is lower air pressure in the stream than outside of it. If I drop my ping pong ball in the stream, you see it gets pushed by the air and just floats there. But some of you might say, wait a minute, that's nothing fancy, the air is just pushing the ball up against gravity. That's more pressure and not less, but you would be mostly right. Instead of going straight up and down, what if I tilt the hairdryer to the side? You see that the ball stays in the airstream, but you would think it should just fall out because the air isn't pushing it directly up anymore and gravity is still pulling it down. But there's more to the story. Remember how moving air has lower pressure than stationary air? Whenever the ball comes down a little bit out of the airstream, when it touches the stationary air that has higher pressure, it gets pushed back into the stream. If you don't have the supplies to do this at home, we have these on display at Discovery Place Kids Rockingham and Discovery Place Science. So today we learned about air pressure and how the air that's always around us, but we don't notice usually, can do some pretty incredible things. From stationary air being strong enough to hold water in a cup, to moving air causing things to lift into the air and being the reason our planes can fly. Can you think of any other uses of air pressure around in your daily life? Leave questions or comments in the section below, or use the hashtag MyDiscoveryPlace to talk to us on social media. Unrelated to this video, I'm actually going to be doing a Facebook live stream Tuesday the 26th at 11:30 where I'll be doing lots of 3D printing designing things, and I hope I'll see you there. But until next time, my name's Waffle, and thanks for joining us.